Hey guys, welcome back. This is the History of Soul Eater Season 3, Episode 4 of my show, which is also about Episode 4. Now Episode 4 in the English dub is known as the Red Hot Runaway Express, a magic tool left behind by the Great Wizard. But before I start talking about this, I just wanted to mention this very quickly. Not this month, but next month. I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up about this. This Christmas coming up is when I'm probably going to get the Xbox One system. And, since it's going to be a new system that I'm going to be getting, next month, I'm going to do, like, a fan poll suggestion video on which games you guys want me to play, which one of the first Xbox One games you guys think I should play first before I get it. For right now, I can think of 2 of them at least. But I won't tell you which ones. I'll do that when I do the special video for next month, so I just thought I'd get that out of the way. Now, getting into the actual episode, I just wanted to get off topic before I began the video, just to let you guys know that I was probably going to be getting I'm hoping I get the Xbox One for Christmas, and there are like 2 games I'm thinking of getting, so I want to just ask your guys' opinion, which I'll do next month, like maybe the first video for next month before I upload my first video for the Soul Eater series for October. I'll do that. I just thought I'd get that out of the way. Anyway, getting into the actual episode, this is History of Soul Eater Season 3, Episode 4 of my show, which is also about Episode 4. Now, Episode 4 in the English dub is known as the Red Hot Runaway Express, a magic tool left behind by the Great Wizard. And this episode primarily focuses around Kid, Liz, and Patty, but I'll just mention this very quickly. Sid and Nigus, they do show up briefly in the episode, but just before the end of the episode. I just thought I'd get that out of the way. And, oh, and by the way, I'll just give you guys another heads up. After this video and after the next one, we'll be into, I think the final episode of the Legend of the Holy Sword saga. I'm not sure. I think we'll be into the final episode of the Holy Sword saga, so like I said, from now on, those episodes are going to be relatively short because they're really stupid. At least to me, they're stupid, But that's my opinion, and like I've always stated to you guys with all my videos I've done, YouTube is about people's opinions, and that's basically my opinion, really. And anyway, getting into the actual episode, it starts with Kid, Liz, and Patty walking in the desert area to go toward where the Red Hot Runaway Express is, and then Patty keeps saying it's hot, and the third time she says it's hot, she freaks out, and then this is the funny part of the episode when she's angry and freaked out of the episode. Her face is all red and there's like fire coming out of her mouth. Oh my god. I'm sorry, but that's a little funny. I think it's sort of a reference to where they are. I'm not really sure, but I just thought I'd get that out of the way. Anyway, continuing on, after they arrive at the destination, Kid just runs down to where the train is supposed to arrive, and then Liz is wondering why he's so excited about the train arriving, because apparently, according to what he knows, that train has never been a second earlier, a second late, always on time at the exact same time, which I guess in his case is sort of a good thing for him because he's, like I said, he's a little, I believe I remember I stated this back when I did the character bio video. He's a little loopy because of symmetry stuff, so I just thought I'd get that out of the way there. Anyway, continuing with what I was saying, after that, they get to where the train is supposed to arrive, and then they see this little person, which is actually one of the Mizane witches, but she has her soul protector on at the time, so they don't know it. And then after they start talking, Patty freaks out, and then to calm her down, Liz starts playing in the sand, and then basically, after the train fails to show up on its correct exact time that it's supposed to, Kid said that the train's perfect punctuality was nothing more than a rumor, which is sort of a downer in his case. I'm sorry, but I just thought I'd get that little minor part there out of the way. Anyway, continuing on with what I was saying, then the train actually does show up, but so does, like a henchman, a flunky of Arachnophobia known as the Fisher King. And now that I've gotten into his character, he only lasts for this episode, and his primary weapon is a sort of like a fishing rod version of a rocket launcher called the fishing rod launcher. But then after the Fisher King shows up, and I'm sorry if you saw me laugh before, it's just because the primary weapon he uses is called the fishing rod launcher, which is basically a rocket launcher, but instead of shooting rockets, it shoots fishing rod hooks. Oh my god, that's hilarious. In a little bit, that's hilarious. Anyway, continuing with what I was saying, after the Fisher King gets on the train, the Mizane witch that was standing beside Kid takes her soul protect off, and then Kid's surprised that it was actually a witch. And at first he suspects that witches could be sightseers too with the train, but then these tadpole bombs show up, and then he said that the tourists can't leave bombs, don't leave bombs, and then he has Liz and Patty transform into weapon form, and then well, he sort of has Liz transform into weapon form, but he has Patty like hanging onto the back of him, and then when he's on the move with the skateboard and getting on the train, he does a couple of tricks, and the second time he does a trick, he warns Patty that it's actually a no-hander, and then he does some spins in the air, which sort of makes Patty dizzy, because I don't understand this part of the episode, to be honest. She's sort of attached to him somehow. I think it was because she was holding on to him, but that's my hypothesis about it, and that's my opinion about it, and like I've always told you guys, YouTube is about people's opinions, and that's really my opinion, and I thought I'd just get that out of the way. And then, after Kid gets on the train, he and the Fisher King monster start fighting each other, and then one of them, the Mizane that was there, charges at him using his whiskers, and then he says that basically that was close. He forgot that he had to watch out for attacks from the air, but he's a little bit stupid, because in his attempt to dodge the Mizane's attack, he ended up on the same side of the train as Kid was and stuff, and then basically Kid said that this guy's a special kind of stupid, which kind of makes sense if you ask me, because he was on one side of the train, but because of the music, he had to jump onto the other side where Kid was, so that was a little stupid. And then Fisher King starts blasting him with his fishing rod launcher. But first he goes back to the other side of the train and disconnects the part that's connected to the train, and then Kid goes to the part of the train where Fisher King's on, and then he starts using his fishing rod launcher on the outside. Well, actually, first what happens is they're back outside where the train is, and they get right on the top of the train at least, and then what happens is basically, but before that, Kid does a little bit of tricks, and then he warns Patty that the next one that he's going to do is a no-hander, basically, which is, oh my god. I'm sort of backtracking to when he first got on the train, guys. I just thought I'd mention that. Anyway, getting back into what I was saying earlier, after Fisher King uses his fishing rod launcher a couple of times, which, like I said, is like his version of a rocket launcher, which shoots, instead of rockets, it shoots fishing rod lures. And Kid basically says that this guy is stupid, ugly, and a bad shooter. And then after that, Fisher King gets to where the magic tool known as the Eternal Spring is, and basically what the Eternal Spring is, it is basically a key-based object. Oh, and now that I've gotten into it, the key-based object is a tool of the Great Wizard known as Eibon. And the reason why I mentioned that is because of what happens in episode 8 of this season. Now, what I mean by episode 8 is, I'm just gonna give you guys a little bit of a heads up. A lot of dramatic stuff will happen in, like, the 8th, 9th, and, I think 10th episode at the very least. So in episodes 8, 9, and 10, a lot of major stuff will be happening. Well, it'll start at episode 8 and then end at episode 10. So technically about a total of 3 full episodes if you count episode 10. So I just thought I'd get that there out of the way. I just thought I'd mention that since one of the magic tools is being collected in this episode of the 3rd season, and this magic tool is known as the Eternal Spring, which is basically a sort of key-based object. And then after Kid removes the key, he said that after he defeats the Fisher King and removes the key, he said that it's a vile creation, just holding it makes him sick, basically, and he wants to get rid of it. And then Fisher King starts laughing, and he tells them about the Great Wizard known as Eibon, and then that his father has to do with the key being made, because he says, would he say that about Lord Death as well? And then Kid wonders what his father has to do with it, and then basically Fisher King asks Kid to look inside where the Eternal Spring was kept, and they don't see why, and he looks inside, and he sees 2 names on the top. It says Eibon's name, and then it says Lord Death's name on the bottom. And after that, Sid shows up, and he uses the knife to turn the Fisher King soldier into a Kishin egg soul, and then after he asks Kid and Liz and Patty to get some rest and something to drink as a reward for their hard work and stuff and getting the magic tool. And if I remember correctly in the episode, he contacts the DWMA using a communicator that's on his shirt, where he says that basically the objective is complete and the DWMA has another magic tool. And then it goes into where Kid is, and then he returns from the mission, and basically after that he goes into the school, and then basically what happens is he goes into the school library, and anyway, but before I get to near the end of the episode, before I get to the end of the episode, I just want to mention this very quickly. The reason why he's in the library is because he wants to look up books that are in the level 4 block on the Wizard Eibon, because I just figured, since it sort of pertained to what happened earlier in the episode I'm talking about, I just thought I'd mention that. Now getting back into what I was saying, I'm sort of backtracking here before I continue near the end, because he's wondering what the Fisher King meant by that, because if he asks his dad straight up, he'll brush him off, like he did when he asked him about the Kishin and stuff, and then he says he has to find out for himself, and then he goes through these books, and then he goes to the desk clerk, and the desk clerk at the library tells him that, does he need any help looking for a specific book, and then Kid says that he would like to look at any of the books that he has in the level 4 block with information on the Great Wizard Eibon, and then the clerk looks at the student ID card, and he tells him that he's only a 1-star Meister, that he can only pick out books from the first level, and then basically Kid tells him to look at the back of the card, and he looks at the back, and then he's startled, and he tells Kid to forgive him because he didn't realize that he was a member of Lord Death's family. He said that he'll find the book he requested for immediately, and then Kid's basically thinking that he's only a 1-star Meister. He thought he would be farther up than that. And then the clerk comes back, and then he tells him that one book does match his request, but it was taken out of the library and never returned a couple of months ago, which is technically around the same time the Kishin was revived. And then basically Kid is asking the clerk, does he know who took it out? If possible, he'll track down the person who took it out and demand that they return it. And then the clerk basically tells him that he's really sorry, but due to insufficient records, this is the only signature he has of the person that took it out. There's no name or anything, just the letter M on it. And then he tells Kid to forgive his tardiness, basically, and then he goes back to work, and then Kid's thinking that who besides him would have an interest in a book like that. It was taken about 4 months ago or so, right around the time the Kishin revived, and it had the letter M, and he thinks that the person that took it out must have been Medusa, which is, I think, correct, because if it was taken out around the same time the the Keishan was revived, so then it's not much of a coincidence. But again, that's my opinion. And like I've always said, YouTube is about people's opinions, and that's basically my opinion, guys. And that's basically going to end this video. So, if you guys like this video when I post it tomorrow, give it the real best you guys can. And I'll see you guys next time. Until then, guys, like I always tell you with this series, watch it or I'll take your soul.